everybody from Group Delta. I'm Tabor. I'm here from Marquette, and I'm a business management major.
Hi, I'm Will. I'm from the Twin Cities of Minnesota, and I'm an accounting major.
I'm Emma. I'm from East Lansing, and I am a financial management major.
I'm Steph. I'm from Warren, Michigan. I am an art design major with a concentration in photography.
I'm Aubrey. I'm from Kalamazoo, Michigan, and I'm a social media design management major. So history of Delta. Delta actually started off as a crop dusting company. They ranged from Florida to California. They were one of the largest fleets. They also did some in Mexico. Eventually, in 1928, Woolman bought out the crop dusting company and then turned it into Delta, in which in 1945 they got their official corporate name for the planes. They became a passenger and cargo service, so and they had people on the planes and they also took cargo underneath the planes and they took packages and stuff too. They eventually also did airmail and they got Route 24, which helped them get back into passenger services. In 1990 they became a global carrier, so they were going across the world with their flights. They also had different class levels, so like first, second, third. Obviously, if you're in first class, you spend more money, but you also get more things, which is appealing to some people because if you're flying, let's say here to Europe, you're gonna want to have better things in your more space, more food, it's better options in general. And then like third class, you just get the basic seating, the basic go-to things. For the environmental analysis, they're trying to get rid of their current planes to more fuel efficient ones, so they're better for the environment. They're also trying to switch over to sustainable aviation fuel, which is made out of feedstock that is agricultural and forestry waste, and also like used cooking oil, green hydrogen, stuff, fun little stuff like that. They're trying to build a better company-employee relationship, so where their employees live, they're trying to help their community out better and show that they're actually willing to help and make a better name for their company. They compare the growth rates with other airlines and companies to see how they're doing rather than the other companies, see if they're better or not.
Okay. So now let's talk about more about the marketing strategy of Delta Airlines. So as we all know, any good marketing strategy starts with a mission statement. And Delta's mission statement centers around improving the standards of living for everywhere that their customers live and work. And now, due to the vast amount of customers and country that Delta serves, this is quite a broad kind of goal. But they do narrow it down to kind of three main things. The first thing is improving sustainability. Now, what do they mean by that? Well, Delta has this lofty net goal of being carbon neutral by the year 2050. And they plan to do this by bringing on more green fuels, kind of like we talked about. Also investing in activities that kind of help pull carbon out of the atmosphere, like rainforest restoration. And the second goal kind of has to do with improving diversity and inclusion within their company. They do this by trying to hire diverse groups of staff, making sure everyone in the company's voice is heard, encouraging people to tell their stories, and kind of embracing this international and worldwide diversity of people. Thirdly is kind of this it's like this being engaged with communities. So Delta has this huge thing of being engaged with every community that they serve. They like to provide fundraisers for events. They like to provide educational opportunities for everyone in these communities. And after that, another part of their marketing strategy is heavily focused on segmented markets. Now, with a really diverse group of people that Delta serves, they really have to make many different types of marketing strategies for each one. So obviously, there's just a standard middle-class traveler. They have a different marketing strategy for that than they do for like the high-level C-suite CEOs and business people. They're going to be paying high prices for tickets. And now on to the 4 Ps of Delta. So first off, the product. Well, at its bare bones, Delta's product is providing transportation for people and baggages from point A to point B. Now, obviously, there's a lot of other airlines that do this exact same thing, but how Delta likes to differentiate themselves, they really like to focus on being easy and stress-free to use. Now, stereotypically, flights are really stressful, and traveling in general is stressful, but Delta likes to refine the whole system from booking the flight, finding a hotel, and all the way until landing to be easy. And now for the pricing strategy, like we talked about in the last slide, they use segmented marketing for that. So there's cheaper tickets, like in economy. They really try to market to just being the cheapest flight for people who are just trying to find the cheapest way from point A to point B. And then that goes all the way up to like the Delta One plan, where tickets can be in the high thousands of dollars. And this is more for people on going on international flights. Maybe they're part of a business, or maybe they're a company providing clients and employees travel. They really try to get the quality and comfort to impress them. Now, place. So Delta sells on multiple places. Probably the most popular one is online, which is kind of where the world is going. And you can book the flight online, and you can get your ticket online, and you can scan it at the gate online. Also, kind of lesser known ways that people buy it is through phone. You can call them and book your flight, and also at the airport for maybe if an emergency happens. And then promotion. So promotion. First off, they have ads that try to promote like this earthy feel and like kind of still show the wonders of the world. They also try to embrace their social responsibility, show how they're an ethical company, a responsible company. Another aspect of promotion is they like to use rewards cards, like Delta Sky Miles. They like to use rewards cards to encourage people to spend more money, because the more money you spend, the more benefits you get from these cards.
So their SWOT analysis is their strengths are they have high level in factors. So they have many employees that they use in their companies in various different areas. They also have several different locations throughout the world. You can get to the airports with many different Delta flights. They also have a really good reputable reputation. So you've never really heard most things bad about them. And they also have a big high brand presence. Some of their weaknesses though, they do lack very international revenue, whereas some other international airlines like Air France does take over in more international flights. But the domestic revenue is more around 85% of the whole revenue. But they also are still recovering from the global pandemic. Some of the opportunities are other methods of transportation such as buses or trains, and trying to gain a big, more international presence. Some of their threats are increasing social environmental damage just by global world stuff. And then also something we've seen recently is pandemics. There's a pandemic going around, people aren't taking flights because it's risky. And then other modes of transportation, with the increase of railroads, most people aren't going to fly domestics. It's cheaper to take a train across the country instead of getting in an airport.
Alright, so for our competitor analysis here, we decided to focus on American Airlines because we thought that they were one of their more larger domestic competition within the United States. American Airlines has roughly about 956 aircrafts, the majority of those being through third-party applications, subcontracted businesses that they decide to go through for their business. American has about 134,000 employees roughly, compared to Delta's 91,000. That does differ depending on season, whether you need more people to operate all your flights, hiring, firing, whatnots, anything really that you could just be, if you're not doing well as a business, you may have to lay people off to cut losses, and if you're doing well, you can hire more people to make that experience better for your customers. They have hubs all around the US, from Boston to Los Angeles, Dallas, and Chicago. Those are some major hubs. They primarily target younger audiences, younger than 30, people who aren't necessarily having a bunch of money to spend on their airfare for their travel, so that's what their target market more is, the younger audience, compared to Delta, who, like previously, we have the Class C and higher class seating, so they're going to more spend towards that compared to a younger traveler who isn't trying to blow their whole budget necessarily on their flight, but just get there and then do things when they're there that they would rather be doing instead of spending their money on their flight. Because I know honestly, I don't really care how I get there. I'd rather do more when I get there compared to worrying about my spending to get there. Yeah, so they really just primarily want their like customer to just be more. I'm at a loss for words right now. So yeah, that's what I got.
Okay, and to kind of expand onto that and more of the like website and marketing portion of American Airlines, at first glance on their website, you kind of notice a variety of different ads that they promote. One of their biggest things is that they promote a deal with Apple and Apple Music. So if you spend a certain amount of money, or if you buy a certain flight or flight package, you might receive up to like 6 months free of Apple Music, which is really nice for people who like to stream their music, which Apple Music is one of the biggest streaming services right now. Other advertisements on their website include maybe their credit cards and loyalty programs. They offer a variety of different credit cards. Obviously, you have to apply which one applies to you. You can get the benefits of them, which benefits might be like, for every dollar spent, you could receive 2 flying miles, as well as just extra miles added when you are accepted. So like 50,000 flying miles just for signing up for the card. That makes it really easy for people who like to fly and spend a lot. These cards can really give them good benefits, especially if you do fly a lot. Another big thing on their website is that they advertise their loyalty program, which is called the Advantage Program. That basically is just a membership, so you might receive extra benefits or deals that not just occasional flyers might be offered. And another thing is that they do have an app that is for mobile devices, which is a lot easier to access and use than using their website like on a desktop. But with the app, you can kind of just move around your flight. You can see updated material with your flight. You can find out where your bag is, all sorts of good stuff. Along with on their website is that they express heavily their ESG report, which is the Environmental, Social, and Governance report. They have a couple main points on that report that they want to express more than others. The first one is customer satisfaction and operational performance, which basically their primary goal for that is to improve their recommendation scores to fly Delta, and improve the percentage of mishandled baggage, so reduce that percentage, of course. Another point is diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI, and their main goal for that is just to hire more diverse individuals in all levels of their company. So anything from just like typical general flight staff to hire members in the business aspect of it. The third point that they want to kind of make is their climate change and fuel efficiency. Overall, the company wants to reduce the amount of carbon emissions they release into the air during their flights and reduce the amount of fuel that they have to use when flying. And then that final point is safety management, which is reducing the amount of ground damage on the team or on the job team member injuries, and maintaining like the safest possible standards to make their flyers feel comfortable and as safe as possible when flying. So in general, overall, their biggest point they make on that report is they want to express their point of making the company as sustainable as possible, and they even include over like 20 pages of information on how they plan to do so in the next couple years. But in general, they include a lot of information about their company and how they are working to make it better. And that's just a comparison into Delta. And they have a lot of the same factors, but a lot of them